Welcome to today's virtual open morning at Scarborough College. First and foremost, I wish that you could be here today, meeting our staff, meeting the children and seeing what the school is like for yourselves. However, you can actually do that. Every Friday at the end of each month, we are actually hosting open days and details will follow on those. But equally, you can visit on any day, book an appointment with our registrar team, and you can meet the staff, the children, and see how what school is like in person. Of course, this will be following COVID safe regulations, but even yesterday we had a family arrive from North Yorkshire to come and visit us and see Scarborough College for themselves. When you get here, there'll be a tour by our pupils, and in the case of the family yesterday, they also wanted to visit our boarding houses. And that is how you get a true feel for Scarborough College. However, what I'm delighted with, you've seen some videos from our members of the department, you've seen the strengths of our maths, our foreign languages, our science department. But before I talk about that, I wanted to highlight what is going on this morning. Across the country right now, we are facing challenges. Challenges that we all face as we went into lockdown a few months ago. But we've shown true Yorkshire grit at Scarborough College, whether that is the 3-year-olds who are at the school or to all members of staff. And during that time, we have benefited greatly because we are a Google school, and that means our online provision was outstanding. But we continue to use Google Classroom. Every child in the senior school has a Google Chromebook, and the lessons continue to be outstanding at the college. However, in terms of return to school, we haven't been able to have as many fixtures as we would like. But right now today at Scarborough College, I walked in and boys were playing football. They were having inter-house football competition with Mr. Davis and Mr. Fraser. There are not many schools in the country who can say that their 2 biology teachers would be there on a Saturday morning refereeing football, having seen them last night playing football with the children at the school as well. Both those teachers are also outstanding academics, with Mr. Davis having graduated from Oxford University and Mr. Fraser from Cambridge University. We also have right now boys and girls playing cricket down in our sports centre with specialist coaching, some of the best coaches in the world. And this afternoon, I'm delighted that we'll have our first set of fixtures this afternoon for the girls. Hockey is a key part of what we offer at the school, and I look forward to watching the girls play later on. Now, in terms of the college, the first question I have in terms of as a dad is the academics. Whether you are like my daughter at the age of 4 or 18, every child at this school learns a language, continues to study maths, continues to study science. And that means from the age of 4 upwards, the standard of teaching, the specialist teaching that every child receives is outstanding. When I think of the prep school, I think of my own prep school education, which I loved, but it really did specialise in English and maths. And of course, English and maths is at the heartbeat of our curriculum. However, in the prep school, children will receive specialist teaching. For example, my own wife, who will teach the IB, will teach children geography. But also teachers I've just mentioned before, such as Mr. Davis, will be teaching science in the prep school. And this is a continuation throughout the school. Just this week, we're delighted that the DT department has received a laser cutter. But that laser cutter and Miss Speak, who is the outstanding teacher of the head of Department of Design and Technology, also teaches in the prep school. And that is one of the reasons why I think we're so different. The specialist teaching in the prep school then feeds its way through to the senior school. And in year 7, as many of the parents who are joining us today are looking for, there are specialist lessons, not just science in general, it is biology, chemistry and physics. Right from the age or from the moment that your son or daughter joins a school, we're preparing them as best we can to be lifelong learners, but of course to get the highest possible grades. And this is reflected in our grades. We are an outstanding school academically. Our value added is 1 grade per pupil per subject at GCSE. That places us in the top 8% across the country. There are not many independent schools in the country that claim to have an IB score of 4 points per student higher than what they would attain according to data. But I stress GCSE, to have children achieving 1 grade higher than what their predictions are based on data tests is an incredible achievement and shows the true value added of Scarborough College. The reasons for that are simple. The children work hard, we have outstanding staff, and the specialist teaching combined with the small class sizes means that your children will achieve the grades that they deserve and grades that you'll be proud of, be way beyond their time at Scarborough College. Of course, I'm proud that children go on to universities such as Martina last year to Oxford to read music. But we also have children who go on to universities that they never ever dreamt of when they first arrived at Scarborough College. But they discover a lifelong passion of learning. Hopefully, in my case, if they study in history, they even want to go on and study history at university. In terms of the school, though, a school is about people, about relationships. And I take great pride that Scarborough College is not a big school. We are a school of 450 pupils, and we have no ambitions to be any bigger than that. It's why the school is special. Yesterday, I know that it was Cameron and Logan's birthday. They're age 4. They are part of our Little Owls, our nursery. And I was delighted to wish them happy birthday. But equally, I know exactly how every single 18-year-old is progressing, both as people and academically at the college. I take great pride in that. And in terms of the school as well, we produce true all-rounders. Whether you are like our head girl, who you would have seen on a video, who is in the National Youth Theatre, or in that year group we have a national gymnast, or a water ski champion, a British rower. You will see that the school produces children that are confident, that will find a true love of whatever magic they discover. And that will mean that at the college, whether that is doing LAMDA, which is the London Academy of Music, Dance and Arts, we have nearly 100 children taking part in that. Or whether that is playing rugby for the school. When your children walks into an interview at a leading university, they will have so much to offer and so much to say. That is what Scarborough College is about. It's about the children, about the people at the college, and it's the fact that we know them so well. And this is emphasised in the sixth form. The sixth forms that I have worked with in previous years, you always have a head of sixth form. But in this school, we have a specialist careers person. And right from the word go, as soon as your child arrives, they can have discussions with Miss Lowe about what their future careers, their future prospects, and how we can open the doors for that success. Now, in terms of the school today, you'll have so many questions, and I've got some questions here already which I will now answer. However, if after today you have questions that you want to be answered, please just contact us. Please come and visit us. Who knows, on Monday we will be able to meet. The questions that I've been asked from people who have written into us is, what is the age range of the school and how does that work in practical terms? Now, in terms of the age range of the school, we have children that arrive from the age of 3, such as my own daughter, and we have children who then leave at 18 to go on to university or career. That was highlighted last year with my head girl, head of school and deputy head of school, who had been at the school for 28 years between them. Incredible. In terms of practical terms, we are one school, we are a family. Our upper sixth will know the children in the prep school. Of course, during COVID times, we have our own bubbles, and one of the great frustrations is right now is an example that some of our sixth form would go into the prep school and help even teach some of the children at different points. That can't happen. But at the moment that changes, we will get back to that clearly. However, we still know each child. And each day, I will see them at school, in the prep school, taking part in academic lessons, in terms of sport. And practically, we have one site, one campus, and we see every child all day. Now, in terms of lunch times, that is reflected. They eat in the same dining hall. So our prep school will eat lunch first of all, and then obviously the senior school will come in after. And the food here is outstanding. The next question we have is how many international students there are at the college. There are 75 international students at the college. I love that. With the fact that we do the IB, the International Baccalaureate, later on, we are a school that reflects society. During the course of my life, I've worked with many different nationalities, people from across the world. And at the school, I take great pride that my own daughter is learning French from the age of 4, and that later on in school, she will also be at school with somebody from France or from Germany or from other parts of the world. Just this morning, I met a boy who is from India, a boy who's from the Ukraine, and they were together with some of our English boarders at the college as well. But we have a great nationality mix. In some schools, there'll be some nationalities that dominate. Here, we have a great breakdown so that when they are here, they even develop a Yorkshire accent at the school and take part. I think of last year when we have 5 different nationalities in the first 15 rugby team, for example, and they won. The next question is, can British pupils board too? We have a number of British pupils. The amount of British boarders has doubled in the last 18 months. In fact, more than doubled. In the boys' house, of course, the number 1 nationality is British. In terms of boarding, of course they can board. We have weekly boarders. We have the opportunity for some boarders to board on the odd flexi nights. However, this, of course, is subject to availability. And in the last few years at Scarborough College, of course, demand has flown through. Our boarding houses right now, we actually only have 2 spaces for this academic year. That is an incredible achievement and reflects the beautiful boarding that we have at the college, the family atmosphere, but also the great demand we have for people who want to study at the college. Year 12, for example, in terms of the IB, we are full. We've got over 50 children studying the IB. In terms of year 8 as well, we are full for the school and we have a waiting list being established for year 8. Now, what we have done to help in that situation is in year 9, we've added an extra class. So we have moved to a situation where children who can't come into year 8 currently will be able to join the school in year 9. I've added an extra class because I thought that was vital in terms of making sure class sizes throughout the school remain small, but also it's the most important year in terms of being a pre-GCSE year for some of our students. It is a year where they decide for the first time what subjects they want to go and study. So by having an extra class, having even smaller class sizes, that enhances their academic education at the college. But in terms of one of the questions on here is, are we full? Well, in most year groups, there are 1 or 2 spaces still left. But as I've highlighted in year 8 and year 12, I'm afraid we are full currently, but we are excited to have some students on the waiting list who can join us first. For year 7 next year, of course, there are spaces, and we welcome to receive your application for the school. We also look forward to meeting you in person, and to me, that is vital. One of the key things at a school is we receive your school reports. It gives us a great insight into you as a child, and also in terms of what your hobbies and interests are. But nothing beats meeting you in person. I want you to feel the heart of the school. I want you to see the children in their lessons, to see what a great attitude to learning they have, whether that is studying French or playing on the games field or taking part in drama. One of the questions I had is actually, what are the main sports at the school? And I'll now come back to co-curricular in terms of drama as well. So the main sports at the school, I've mentioned we have an international gymnast, an international rower, a European water ski champion, but of course they are not our major sports. We facilitate their opportunities so they can reach the top at those sports. But our main sports are, for the boys this term it would be rugby. Our under-15s reached the last 8 in the country last year, are an outstanding team. Of course, right now they can't play rugby and we're investigating and looking at whether they can play some touch rugby. In terms of girls, hockey is outstanding. And our girls have been Yorkshire champions in recent times, as have our boys as well. Boys hockey continues to be strong, and we have a UK line hockey player at the school. We have 5 girls that have just been selected to join the pre-England training camps with the PC selection for hockey as well. So Rugby, hockey, golf. We have a golf centre of excellence right next door to the school. We have a beautiful golf course, and we have some boys and girls there who are top players. But in terms of the summer, of course, one of my great loves is cricket, and the school is outstanding at cricket. We have outstanding coaches, outstanding players. But I mustn't forget, my wife sport netball as well. The girls in the first team, they entered the local league. And across the board last year, we had outstanding results for netball, for hockey, for cricket, and also for athletics and rounders. The point is we play a range of sports. In terms of this school as well, I look at every single child in year 7 who has already paddleboarded or been surfing. Now, at my school, I never even dreamt about surfing. And yet at this school, we do a program which is called Yorkshire Grit. In the last few months, we've all had to protect our own well-being, which is, of course, what we do at the school. And we've all had to show some Yorkshire Grit. And every single child in year 7, 8 and 9, they have 2 games afternoons. We must be one of the few schools in the country that has 2 games afternoons. But we believe in children being outside, being active, being sociable. That's what's vital for me as a dad. I don't want to see children on their mobile phones at school. In fact, if you come to our school, I think a big thing that you'll notice that is completely different to other schools, you are more likely to see an 11-year-old going off to surf than them actually holding a mobile phone. Now, in today's world, what is more important? Yorkshire Grit, showing resilience, showing the ability to bounce back. Well, we have a curriculum that emphasises that. A curriculum that shows a great love of producing true all-rounders, a great love of the outdoors. But also in terms of the indoors, it leads me to drama. When I watched Bugsy Malone last year, I thought it was incredible. It was funny, it was witty, and the children were inspiring on stage as well. We have a number of great actors. One of our British boarders, Joseph, has joined us, who's age 11. Just like you, some of you last year, he was looking at schools. He lives in the south of England, but he decided to come to Scarborough College. He decided to come to Scarborough College because of the people, because of the beautiful boarding houses, but also because of our outstanding drama department. Now, Joseph is actually in the West End and plays one of the bank's children in Mary Poppins. So whether you want to be Mary Poppins, a British rower, or you want to be like our head of school 2 years ago who left and is studying law with German in Holland, we will give you the opportunity to follow your dreams. What we will do, we will also make sure that you discover a new love of something as well. When I was at age 11, I'd never played hockey before. Now, I'm sat here, age 41, having a great love of hockey, and that's what my school gave me. But I look in terms of Scarborough College, and I think that your child will leave with a love of languages, the ability to speak another language, which in this day and age is so vital. We make sure that children excel academically, but school has to be about producing all-rounders as well, so that when your son and daughter, or if you're listening as a pupil, when you walk into an interview, you have so much to say, but also you walk in with a smile, confident and a good person, so that when somebody does fall off the surfboard doing Yorkshire Grit, you're there right by their side to pick them up. And that's what happens at Scarborough College. And I emphasise the size of the school when I think of that. Being a school of 450 means that each child has so many opportunities. But it also means that we know exactly how each child is doing. Because school is great. I love school, but sometimes school might be difficult as well. And in terms of that there, when you're studying for your GCSEs and you're working so hard, the type of extra support, the extra lessons, and I emphasize this in terms of year 11 right now. We've done online learning. It is wonderful that we are a Google school, but after school, every day, our pupils have been able to access extra lessons to ensure that if they miss the smallest thing, that we will catch that up, that we will support their learning, inspire them, and make sure that when exams happen this summer, they are not just ready, they're ready to excel. The next question is about class sizes. I take great pride in the class sizes. Of course, as an independent school, we should have small class sizes, and that's why I emphasise in year 9 we've added an extra set. But in terms of GCSE years, we've added extra classes for English, maths and science as well this year. So we have small class sizes, and in terms of the IB and sixth form, of course we do. And in the prep school, the average of class size will be about 15. Can I visit the school and see the classes in action? Of course you can. We are launching open days on Fridays, where details will follow about when those events take place. But open day Fridays means a member of the SMT, the senior management team, will give a tour around the school. You will see classes in action. And actually, I think that is vital. Often when we run an open day, of course, any school is on show. You'll see the most exciting experiments, for example. But if you come to an open day on a Friday, you'll visit a normal day, a normal lesson time. But what I want to stress is every day is an open day. If you can't make a Friday, book an appointment, come and visit us next week. We can't wait to welcome you at the college. The final question is, in terms of the school, when can I join? Well, in terms of year groups, year 8, of course, there's a waiting list, and there's some other year groups with a waiting list. But I hope you can join on Monday and come and join the school and following a visit with us and following me meeting your family and meeting you as people. Lastly, just to say, I look forward to meeting you later. I'm delighted that we have families here, whether it be from Scarborough, Malton, other parts of Yorkshire, to people down in Ipswich I can see. But of course, across the world, we have families from Germany, from India, joining us as well. And I hope one day, I look forward to meeting you in person at Scarborough College. As a dad, it's the best decision I've made, or we have made as a family, and our children are excelling here. No day is the same at Scarborough College. Thank you for listening. I'm sorry that it's not in person, but I look forward to that in the future. Thank you. I've now got the pleasure of introducing you to Miss Colborne, who's here. She's the head of Year 7 and a maths teacher at the college. I've still not to see her not being incredibly happy at the school. She's worked here for a few years, and she loves the children at the school. But there is one fact I want you to know to the parents out there, and she's laughing, I can hear her now. She was once on Blockbusters, so if you can find that on YouTube, I look forward to you showing Miss Colborne that you've seen her on Blockbusters, which was a famous game when I was growing up. Anyway, here's Miss Colborne. Thank you very much. Sorry, Miss Colborne.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you, Mr. Emmett, for bringing up Blockbusters yet again. My name is Sarah Colborne, and I'm Head of Year 7 and Transition here at Scarborough College, which means I get to meet everybody who is joining Year 7 whilst they're still in Year 6, whether that be at the prep school here or whether that be at any other primary school anywhere in the world, really, who are coming to join us. So how does that process work? Well, this year has been quite different. But I've actually quite liked it. I think some of the elements that we're going to keep, we've actually had the transition process all online. So that meant we had some video chats with myself and the Year 7 tutors, who are Emma Speak and Becky Leeson. So we got to know the prospective Year 7 students. They got to know each other. We got to ask them questions. They got to ask us questions. We were a Google school, so we used Google Chromebooks and we used Google Classroom an awful lot. So that meant we were able to set up a Google Classroom for the new Year 7s, and we were able to share documents, share ideas. The children were able to chat to each other. They were able to email each other, and just to sort of build up those friendships and get to know little things about each other before they actually arrived in September, which was a fantastic tool. So it's making use of that technology that is available out there. And fingers crossed, next summer, when we're starting to transition the current Year 6, we'll be able to do some of that online, as well as hopefully having a real life in-person transition process. What normally happens is we have all of the pupils come to school for the day, and they spend the day going around different departments, experiencing some subjects that they've maybe not encountered before in primary school. And then we also introduce them to the Yorkshire Grit programme. Now, Mr. Emmett's talked about the Yorkshire Grit programme quite a lot already, I'm sure. It's one of his favourites. But Year 7 have been throwing themselves into Yorkshire Grit already. And in fact, I spoke to the current year 7 yesterday and said, what do I need to talk about? I'm live on YouTube tomorrow morning. Tell me, what do I need to tell people? What's the best thing that you've really been enjoying and maybe surprised by? So Joseph says there are just so many opportunities like LAMDA. So LAMDA is the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Arts, if you didn't know. So we have LAMDA lessons available here, and pupils take LAMDA exams, whether that be in musical theatre, whether it be in public speaking, whether that be in acting. And we have some fantastic results. So there's lots going on in that area. Joseph also mentioned sports, as does Isaac, Harry and Ben. Just sport were their replies. There is just so much sport going on here, but it's not just sport, it's everything. So we've got rugby going on, we've got hockey going on, we've got netball going on. You know, that's just a tip of the iceberg. There is so much happening. And Joseph also put an amazing education, of course, goes without saying. Felicity has asked me to mention that the lessons aren't boring, they are actually fun. So there you go. Who would have thought it? Actually, lessons that are fun. But as a teacher, I have to make sure my lessons are fun, otherwise I'd get bored. So yes, lessons are fun here. The staff have a lot of sense of humour in different ways, and they like to enjoy the lessons as much as the pupils do as well. So there's lots of different things going on at the moment with obviously the COVID restrictions. It's difficult because the pupils are kept in one classroom in their bubble at the moment. So we're trying to make things as varied and as different from one lesson to the next as we possibly can, with sort of lessons outside and in doing different activities. Yorkshire Grit has been mentioned here, and then by Tom, and Flora then talks about surfing. I think you should talk about surfing because I was really excited when I heard we were doing surfing, because I really wanted to do it. And I don't think I know any other school where surfing is on the curriculum. I think it's pretty amazing. So Yorkshire Grit, at the moment, year 7s are in 2 groups, and half of them every Monday afternoon are heading out to the lakes to do paddleboarding and various different activities in the water. I saw some videos online the other day of them doing some sort of relay race with buckets with holes in, and they had to fill up a container as quickly as they could with the water. And the other half are going surfing in North Bay here in Scarborough. And amazingly, just a couple of weeks ago, they ended up surfing and were joined by a group of dolphins. So, you know, who needs to go to the Caribbean to go swimming with dolphins? Just come to Scarborough, as we like to call it, and you can surf with dolphins in Scarborough. The water may be a little bit colder, but, you know, you can do it without flying. There you are. Daniel says there's lots of opportunities here. Daisy says she likes the girls' hockey and there's a chance of getting in the team. And Harry said he likes how well everyone gets on, which is true for the most part, as I say, in any school. But we're a family here. Everyone gets to know each other really well, and they look out for each other. There's not the name calling. There's not so much of the nastiness. A little bit, but then they're kids. But generally, they do look after each other. I actually have a little story that I like to tell year 7, that everyone has their own talent. Everyone has a superpower. And you decide whether you use your talent, your superpower, for good or for evil. And at Scarborough College, it's a superhero school. We're not a villain school. We're not even a sidekick school. We're a superhero school. So everybody in year 7 is a superhero in my eyes. So whenever I talk to them, I call them superheroes. So I will say, good morning, superheroes. And it just makes me think a little bit about the decisions they are making in life. And personally, I think it's a good way to go forward. So I hope you like that too. What else do we need to know? Okay, so we've got some more questions here. Some children come from the Scarborough College Prep School into year 7. That's true. What about children who come from other primary schools? Well, we talked about the transition programme. That programme is set up already. It's been a bit more difficult this year. So ultimately, I'd like to go out and visit some more primary schools so they get to know my face and I get to know them a little bit before they join us here. But it's about a 50-50 split in the current year 7. So there's plenty of chance to meet lots and lots of new friends. Anyone joining year 7 fresh would never be the only one that has just joined. there are always lots of new people and people getting to know each other. And it's really quite an exciting time to see these friendships growing that are going to last for years and years, and hopefully the rest of their lives. I've been here for 14 years now, and recently there was an inquiry from one of my former pupils for her daughter to join Year 7. So good morning, Katie, if you're watching. And I think that makes me feel a little bit old and a little bit proud all at the same time. So yes, it's lovely to watch people growing up from Year 7 and becoming the amazing young people that our sixth formers become. And just make me feel very proud. So Yorkshire Grit, everybody participates in Yorkshire Grit. Does it cost extra? No, it's on the curriculum. It's on your timetable. Monday afternoons at the moment are just for Yorkshire Grit. So that's what it says. Can you tell us something about class sizes? Well, at the moment we have just over 40 in Year 7. So there's about 20 in each class in Year 7. As you go further up in the school, then we tend to have more groups in the years as the numbers increase a little bit, and makes it a little bit more manageable. Then we've got the smaller class sizes, and you can really concentrate on what you're doing. And the teachers, we get to know you so well. We see so much of you, and we can see exactly what you're doing and how well you're doing in each subject. How often do you play sports? Well, with Year 7, sport is on the timetable 3 times a week. So we've got Yorkshire Grit, we have an afternoon of game sessions, and then there's another morning where games is as well. On top of that, we've got all the team practices, the after-school clubs. We get a chance to play other sports if you're interested in them, and also the fixtures. Not as many as we would have in a non-COVID situation, but still plenty of things going on. I know the Year 7 girls were actually playing hockey this morning, so they said they wouldn't be able to watch you, Mrs. Colborne, but it doesn't matter. I will still mention you, so good luck with your hockey match this morning. Can I visit the school and see the classes in action? Absolutely. It's the best thing to do. Come and visit us, come and meet us, come and see what it's all about. The best way to understand Scarborough College is just to come and experience it. Come and see the classes in action, come and see the teachers in action, come and see the pupils. And I know at the moment we're obviously a little bit more restricted, so visits have to be bookable, but there's details online where you can book your visit and come and have a tour around. Hopefully, once the COVID restrictions start to be relaxed a bit more, we can actually have pupils come and visit us for taster days. I don't know of many pupils that have had a taster day here and then gone, do you know what, I don't want to go there. Most of them are so keen and eager and they can't wait to get started. So I'm sure that will go down very well. Okay, well, Year 7 is a wonderful place to be. They are so happy at the moment, and they're enjoying everything they're doing. So if you've got any more questions that you would like to send in, please let us know, and I can answer them for you. Okay, let's get taking a short break now, and we'll be back with some more chat very soon.
Well, I'm delighted you got to meet Sarah Colborne, who's obviously in charge of Year 7. And the most nerve-wracking year for parents often is a child coming to senior school when they've arrived from a different junior school and they'll settle in. Well, the person in charge of making sure that period of is a happy one in those first few days or even first few hours is Miss Colborne. So I'm glad you got to meet her. Now, for some of you on here, you're looking for the sixth form. And some of you are looking for the sixth form from parts of England, but also from across the world. And in recent weeks, we've appointed Miss Katie Cook to be in charge of the IB programme, a fascinating person who also lives amongst the borders and is our head of history and leading academic at the college. So without much further ado, I introduce you to Miss Katie Cook, and I look forward to receiving any more questions. And please type in any questions which we can answer during today. Thank you.
Good morning. Hello, my name is Katie Cook, and I am the IB coordinator at the school. I just thought I could start telling you a little bit about myself. I started at the school in January, but prior to that, I've worked in 3 other IB schools. After my PGCE, I went to Cambridge, and I was teaching A-level government and politics there before going to Columbia, and then Thailand, and more recently Devon, all IB World schools. So the IB is something that I am really passionate and enthusiastic about, because I believe it is a really good holistic education for students, and it really prepares them well for university. The great thing about my job is I'm also, as Mr. Emmett said, I'm also in boarding. I'm assistant house parent, a weaponess. So that's predominantly 6th form students. So I can really help them and be aware of how they're getting on while I'm in that role also. I'm just going to move on to some questions that have come through. The first one. Is IB harder than A-levels? That's a really good question, and it's not really possible, in all honesty, to say either way. They're very different qualifications. The A-level syllabus is more discrete subjects, whereas the IB is a holistic program that is aimed at creating a student who is going to really thrive at university and in the real world. So perhaps to answer that, I need to explain a little bit more about exactly what the IB is. There are 6 subjects, 3 you take at standard level and 3 at higher level. So 3 at a slightly more difficult level than the others. And it's all held together by what we call the core, which is 3 subjects. One is the extended essay, which is 4,000 word essay, and it allows the students an opportunity to really investigate and delve into a topic of their choosing. And again, it helps to create students who are inquiring, who are able to research, all great skills for university. Then we've got theory of knowledge, which is essentially epistemology. It's about how we know what we know. And that is what sort of holds all the subjects together, the idea that it's all cross-curricular links, and then linking to how these subjects are then applied in the real world. And that's very important. It's not all abstract at IB. It's about really grounding the students in how these subjects will help them moving forward. And then you've got CAS, which is creativity, action, and service. The creativity links to the arts. Action is to do with sports, physical education, physical activity, and then service is community service. So it's a much more broad base, the IB. So I think it allows students to carry on with subjects that if they were doing A-levels, they would have to drop. So for example, languages, you carry on with languages, you carry on with maths. And that allows for a sort of more well-rounded student, I think, at the end, as well as the IB very much focuses on international mindedness and global citizenship. So students being aware of the world that's around them and what's happening in other places in the world, not just sort of being in a bubble wherever you go to school, but a better understanding of the world as a whole. And certainly universities and university admission teams, they have said on many occasions, I think a survey was done where it was found that IB students were very much ahead in terms of their world understanding and citizenship compared to A-level subjects. And that's something I think university now like to see more and more, this awareness of what's going on in the world. For the second question, that is, in a subject like maths, what is the main difference between A-levels and IB? So again, that really links to what I was just saying. Maths, like any of the subjects, they are all about finding links to the real world. And in theory of knowledge, that will also be linked to maths and how it relates to real life situations. Maths has recently changed, so it's now two different topics or avenues that you can take. There is application and interpretation, and then there is also analysis and approaches. And the first one, as the name suggests, application and interpretation, is very much about applying maths in the real world. So I think that is very different to A-level maths, where it is much more of a discrete subject. And again, that links to the whole IB ethos, really, of creating sort of well-rounded global citizens. Now, the next question I've already kind of answered. What is the difference between the high level and the standard level? Do you have to pick high level subjects? The answer to that is yes, you do. You have to do 3 high level subjects and 3 standard level subjects. And the idea being that that it's fair and that they are all equally sort of weighted in terms of what you're going to pick. So to make sure that there's no advantages between one choice over another. There are 6 areas, as I mentioned before. The first one is languages. So that's your own language. Usually you study language and literature. Then the second one is language acquisition. So that is learning a language that is not your own. You can either start from a beginner or you can start at a higher level if you've already had some experience. We offer a lot of languages here at Scarborough, which I think is a real advantage to give people a broad choice. Then you've got individuals and societies. That is humanities, essentially. So geography, history, global politics, economics, business, subjects like that. Then you've got experimental science, which is the sciences. And then you've got maths, which I've already mentioned, and then the arts. For the arts, you can either do visual arts or theatre or music, or if you wish, you can do another subject from the other 5 instead. And but yes, you do have to do the 3 higher level ones. Now, the next question, can you tell us about the transition from GCSEs to IB for someone who hasn't done their GCSEs at Scarborough College? Well, first of all, it's absolutely no disadvantage whether you do your GCSEs here or elsewhere, or indeed if you're coming abroad and you're not doing GCSEs at all, if you have a different qualification, that's also not an issue. A lot of the subjects, as head of history, certainly speaking for history, you don't need prior knowledge for the course, essentially. I can't say that's the same for all subjects, but certainly for history. So I think everybody is kind of joining at the same level. So I wouldn't want anyone to feel like it's a disadvantage to join in the 6th form, because very much in the 6th form there will be an induction when people arrive, in terms of not just getting used to the school in 6th form, but also an IB induction where they learn exactly what it means and how all the subjects fit together. It is a jump from GCSE to IB, as it is from GCSE to A-level. And I think students can sometimes, feel that. But obviously, myself and all the other teachers, we're experienced teachers, we're aware of that, and we can really support them and help them through that. And I think then over time, things settle down. But for everyone going, I think, from GCSEs into 6th form, it can sometimes be tricky, and that's where having the experienced teachers to support it's really important. And again, with myself being in the boarding house, that helps, and with tutors, if your child is going away to study, they are very well supported in the boarding house. Now, the next question: do the students wear uniform in 6th form? No. There is no uniform in the 6th form. The idea is that these are young adults. They are preparing for life in the real world. They're preparing for university, perhaps, or going straight out into jobs, whatever their choice may be. But by allowing them to wear business attire, they get used to that formal dressing and the expectations of that type of dress code, and it allows them some more individuality as young adults. So I think that is very important. And another question here, what is CAS and is it mandatory? CAS I mentioned briefly before as part of the core, and again, the core is what holds the IB together, the creativity, action and service. So it used to be there were a set number of hours that students had to do, but that has been changed now. It is mandatory, but there is no expectations that there are X amount of hours. There is an expectation, of course, that all students do CAS. But this is something that really complements the academic nature of the subjects, because it's allowing students the opportunity to do other things, and that often not only helps with their IB, but also it's really useful when applying for universities. They automatically, because of doing CAS, have lots of things to write on their UCAS forms, or wherever they may be applying, because they will have done lots of extracurricular activities. So, for example, the service element, the community service, that can be things like beach cleans, for example, or going to help out in, well, you can't help out so much in external venues anymore with obviously the current circumstances, but you can do, for example, things online to raise money, and things within school to raise money for charity. The action is obviously getting involved in team sports, for example, so developing skills of being a team player. And I think all of these things, again, they really help to make a more well-rounded student, and so are useful in and of themselves, not just being a compulsory part of the IB. So I think, while CAS is mandatory, I think it is a really useful thing to sort of offset the academic nature and give students other outlets to do things that they're expected for their university applications anyway to have. In the boarding house, just to give you an example, one of the students now, she's very interested in politics. So she has just decided herself to set up a politics club, which I've been supporting. And she's got several people involved. Obviously, it's the US elections coming up soon. So they've been watching documentaries about this, watching the news, discussing it. And all that would count, as she is the person who's organising it and running it. That kind of thing would count towards CAS. I think that is all the questions I have here at the moment. I don't know if there are any more for me to answer. We'll wait a moment to see if there are any others, but I don't think so. So thank you very much, and I hope to hear from you soon. Any more questions, Mr. Emmett?
No more questions. I was just going to talk about location, so I'll just come in and
okay.
talk there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Cook. One of the things that made me think of, one of the things I was thinking of during that interview with Miss Cook is location, actually. And Miss Cook's travelled the world working at very interesting schools, and obviously embraces the international nature of the qualification. But one of the things I've loved about this school since we've moved here as a family is actually Scarborough itself. The location lends itself to what we embrace as part of the centre, a key part of our curriculum, which is, I've mentioned Yorkshire grit, I've mentioned that our love of sport, and in this great town of ours, whether it be the St Joseph's Theatre, the great cricket, rugby clubs that are here, and golf clubs, but also in terms of location, lend itself with the sea, and with Wycombe Lakes. It means that we can do things with the curriculum that other schools cannot do. And one of the key questions I get asked by parents is, why are we different? And I think of many things, whether it be that we do offer the International Baccalaureate, or Yorkshire Grit, our love of sport, the size of the school, the specialist teaching in the prep school, the fact that 3-year-olds learn sign language as they come through. There are so many reasons why, in this day and age, I tell pupils to stand out. And for me, it's very important that as a school, we stand out too. In the last few months, we've all had an opportunity to look at what we offer. We've done that. We've changed our timetable, which has meant an extra games afternoon. It's meant more maths, science and English lessons in year 7, 8 and 9. And also, in the last few years, by becoming a Google school as well, we saw the benefits of that, in particular in the last few months. So at Scarborough College, we pride ourselves in being in a beautiful location, but also a school that does stand out, that is different, that has so many advantages to elsewhere. And then that lends itself to the children. When I see them applying for universities now, and I'm reading their personal statements, I see that they're doing the Duke of Edinburgh Golds. We have an honours board for the Duke of Edinburgh Gold at this school, and normally in most schools, you have a few children who do that. We had over 50 children expressing an interest in doing the Gold D.V. with Mr. Robson this week. Our children are gritty, they're outgoing, they're kind, they're caring, and they are aspirational. They do want to go to the best universities in the world or achieve, like my head boy last year who's working with Ernst & Young this year, their own personal dreams as well. Anyway, the school is about people. We are in a great location, and I do hope that you come and visit us soon. There are so many more things happening with today's open day, and I look forward to seeing you explore those on our webpage with our virtual tour and seeing the members of staff that are so strong at this school and have a great love for the children that they teach. Thank you very much.